Welcome to the DGen Dads podcast. It is I, your host, Kyle Willson. Welcome to the show today. Happy to have you. And of course, I'm joined by my co-host and the one and only, the one who drinks coffee, Chris Coffee. What's going on, man? How are you?
What's up? Good morning. Good morning. I'm loving the music vibes, man. I feel like what back in the 70s.
Oh yeah, we got to get that
Kind of what it reminds me of, man.
on
I feel like I'm watching Stranger Things again.
Let's go. That's how we do it here on the channel.
Heck yeah, man. Waiting to start singing Running Up That Hill next.
Yeah, let me get to chat here. Welcome. Good morning. Hopefully you guys are doing good today. Let me make sure we are live on the channel as well.
That'd be funny.
Yeah. So I think we are good. Yeah, we're Gucci.
Sweet.
We're solid, and everything is good. So, Chris, my man, what's been going on in your world as of late? What we have top of the news. We have Sesame Street drama. We have drama in the VeVe community. We have doodle drama. We have Arbitrum excitement. AI is taking over the world. SVB banks are dumping, pumping, going sideways. We don't even know. We got lots of stuff to cover. We got Dookie Dash, Basie, Backlash, D-Gods. We got all of it this morning at the top of the hour or mid quarter hour. But anyways, Chris, what's on your thoughts, man? Well, let's get into some of these topics. You kind of posted about Sesame Street, so let's start there. What was your thoughts about it? Obviously, VeVe, when they rolled it out, everybody got really excited about it. You know, was it good? Was it bad? A lot of backlash in the comments, it seemed like. What's your thoughts on Sesame Street, the Variety article? They kind of like announced it via the article, but I'm curious, what's your thoughts?
So, fun story about this. I read a thread about this on Twitter. I actually made a video, like a response video on the whole situation, and then I didn't post it. And Kyle, as a content creator, I know you know that that's hard to do because it's like you take the time and effort to like make something and edit it. Granted, this was a short, so it took me a little less time, and I decided not to post it. And the reason being is, at the end of the day, people are still really hurt, you know, and whether that be due to their own like not really knowing like what an NFT is and not really knowing like the environmental impact or whatever. At the end of the day, they are still hurt. So I don't always agree with like responding to like fire with fire, you know, like anger with anger. So I wrote like an educational thread, at least from like an environmental perspective. The fact that Sesame Street has marketed Funkos. And then I know it's been going around a lot, but Funkos did just decide to put $30 million worth of Funkos into a landfill. Environmental impact on that is significantly more than a 99.9% carbon neutral chain, which is Immutable X. You can actually go to Immutable X and look at exactly how each transaction is affecting the environment. So from an environmental perspective, I don't agree. I think the main other perspective and probably the biggest perspective is that they feel like this is a cash grab from a charity or a company that has always been for people that need it. You know, it's always been for people that like they're getting on their feet, low income areas, families. So I get where that's coming from. It's a little odd to me that like the everything they've ever sold in the past wasn't a cash grab, but like you put the word NFT on it and like now it's a cash grab, you know? Like you could sell toys and I mean, I haven't my parents probably bought me like a toy, a Sesame Street toy when I was like little. Besides that, I've never like been a fan myself. I don't know the prices, so maybe they're offended particularly by like the $60 price. I don't really know. But you know, trying to be sensitive to the situation, but also trying to like inform people like this isn't super new. You know, maybe the $60 is higher than usual, but other than that, it's not really, you know, they've made consumerist products in the past, like for people to buy. So it's not really new to me.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Sesame Street, like, you know, in the past, like the Tickle Me Elmos, where people were fist fighting each other for Elmo, you know, I think that back then, you could argue that that was more toxic than just plain old digital collectible NFTs. And again, somebody else brought up a point too, is like they raise money through various means. This could be obviously one of their ways that they raise money, or they could donate it to charity, but they kind of are a charity in among themselves already. So I don't know. I don't know if there's a solid answer for me. Maybe VeVe or Sesame Street could have lowered the price to $30 and it would have been fine. But I think it's the fact that we're in a bear market, the economy's down, and of course people can kind of balk on price at these current times. It's really easy to do, but hindsight, these are collectibles, and long run they could be worth a lot. It's the first NFT of Sesame Street, which is kind of a big deal. So there's a lot to take in there. Again, Tickle Me Elmo. I remember when those were wiped out of the store. They sold like millions of those, and those were priced at like $25, and that was like in the 90s. So in today's dollar value, that's $55 in today's dollar value with inflation adjusted. So again, are we kind of like picking each other apart here? Obviously, people's sentiment around NFTs not so positive, not so bright currently, because again, the attention of NFT space has died down. And we know we're kind of here still because we believe in the technology at the end of the day, whereas mainstream consumers don't see it as technology. They just see it as pictures. So there's a lot of education that has to take place. I talked a little bit about this on a different stream where, we definitely need to be targeting Web3 media, CoinDesk, Cointelegraph, because sure that there's SVB and all these banks collapsing, but if they do see Sesame Street, maybe a crypto investor actually gets a warm feeling. So it's actually the kind of opposite effect here in the Web3 space. So there could have been different strategies for sure, or a mixture of both. I don't know. Again, crazy drama. Any final thoughts on that one?
Web3 media, man. This is Rug Radio Media. Any final thoughts on Sesame Street? I really wish
you going for it.
This would have been cool ahead of time. I really wish that we could have gotten a guest that like strongly disagreed with them dropping NFTs and like had them on this podcast and like just kind of talked on like why. That way, instead of, because like obviously like there's just like a bunch of like hate being thrown around, but like I haven't seen many just like real conversations. So it'd be nice to have a real conversation with somebody like that's capable of doing that. And maybe they would show us something. Maybe it'd be like, here's why we're mad, and then we'd be like, oh wow, that actually makes sense. Or the opposite. Maybe they'll be like, we're mad because it's hurting the environment. And we're like, well, actually, you can look at the energy output on this, and it's significantly less than not even just the Funkos. It's significantly less than like any production that they've ever done before, as far as like waste goes. So I don't know. Like it would have been nice to have a fruitful conversation, but that's not really possible on the internet anymore. You gotta find the right people for that, especially if you have like strongly opposed opinions.
Well, I think too on the internet, like people like to debate, argue for because it makes them feel powerful. It makes them feel like they are smart as well, even if they're wrong. And I had one guy, he commented on Comics and Crypto's post about NFTs and was like, this guy's comparing the internet to NFTs. I'm like, it's literally Web3. Like if you look up the definition of Web3, Web 1 was like plain internet. You could do very little. Then there's Web 2, where you have the extra application layer of like social media, much more dimension added into the internet. And then you have Web 3, which introduced, Web 3 technology, wallets, MetaMask, NFTs. So it kind of like it didn't connect with them. So I commented, I was like, hey, sir, don't mean to be rude, but it's literally internet was Web 1. This is Web 3. Like this is kind of a boomer tweet. So he quote tweeted me and said like basically I was wrong, or like it's destroying the earth. And then he blocked me right after. And
what's
so
his name, bro? I'll invite him on. I'll tell him to come chat right now.
But I went to my another account and I quote tweeted him and then blocked him, and I told him that like it consumes. I got him back. So I know it was petty of me, but I did it. I did it from like
bro, ain't nobody got time for that, Kyle. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah,
don't give those bozos your attention, man.
No, I had to get the last word in. I was like, hey,
man, it's not worth it.
I know, but I was like,
hey, pull me up. Pull my screen up.
All right. I want to show you. But all I said was I was polite about it before I did, but I just said, hey, it actually consumes less energy than like an email, or like you know.
Bro, so wait. You're saying that you wasted more energy logging into your fake Twitter account to like quote his tweet than like these
Oh,
Cookie
it wasn't
Monster
even a
NFTs.
fake one. I used a decent account. It had
Oh,
decent. Yeah, like I shouldn't have did it, but I did
so
it anyways.
you wasted energy
I
to get
did.
the last word, is what
I
you're trying
did.
to
I
say.
did. I did. It was so
Man,
petty. It was out of my
that's
lane.
brutal. That's
I did it.
brutal.
I did it.
All right, check this out, chat. I made this beautiful AI art using Midjourney to depict what VeVe is doing to the environment. As you can tell, he's covered in trash, and there's like smoke behind him, and you know, worked really hard on this with my 5 seconds of prompts that I put. And yeah, so I wrote a. I
Can
did.
you do
Oh
your
no,
best? Wait. Do your best impersonation of the Cookie Monster. All right, ready, go.
I don't have one, man. I don't like. I literally don't even. I'm so
Cookie.
disassociated. Okay, that's good. I'm so disassociated with it. I wouldn't even have like a reference of like how he sounds. Like I've heard him before, but it's been so long. Anyways, I wrote
I
this
don't. Does
thread.
he even talk? I don't know if he talks. He's just like,
Yeah,
oh.
I think he does. I wrote this thread. I'm not going to go through it, but it's basically just what I talked about with the 30 million being dumped into landfills, and then you can actually see the kWh breakdown on Immutable X. That like shows you the gas that's used for minting. You know, this actually says right here 100% carbon neutral. You might not see it because it's really small, but I thought that's interesting. So it's like some sources say 99, some say 100. I guess if you say like you're trying to avoid like that very small percentage, but whatever. It's basically 99.9 carbon neutral. Very interesting though. And yeah, I don't know, man. I want to be sensitive to people who like, you know, this part of their childhood, but I just think it's so ironic that like you decide to let this ruin your childhood, but not like
Not tickle me
anything.
Elmo, like fighting
Yeah,
over.
yeah. Like what is it so different about this is kind of what I'm asking.
Yeah,
Um,
and I think it's easy to dogpile on the internet because I notice like when it's popular, it's easy for people to like bash, right? And you know, like in a bear market, like it's easy to bash projects or bash coins. I've seen this time and time again, um, where it's just easy to dogpile, and I think that's like somewhat of human nature to do that because you want to feel like you're in the in crowd, like of making fun or making like and in the gamer world, it's the same thing. It's like it's so easy for gamers to dogpile on a studio
yeah.
that's maybe not doing well. Maybe they're having some struggles, some
Like
issues.
FaZe right now. Have you seen that? I don't know exactly
Mhm.
what's going on, but FaZe is getting roasted right now, man.
No, I didn't see that. But there's another blockchain. You mentioned that. It's similar to Immutable. It's called Miria. They also do like this whole carbon offset thing. They actually partnered with a platform that offsets it even more. So with all the transactions that come in from like Miria, they take a portion of their fees and then they give that to that platform that they go out into the world with green initiatives and go like do plants and do all this kind of cool stuff. So there's
Hmm.
actually this side that people aren't really realizing that you can actually change the world with blockchain long term. Like this is like a big deal. This wasn't possible before. So with layer twos and highly scalable Ethereum, like the sky could be the limit here. Whereas before, like we're using fiat. Do you see banks really going out there and like planting a whole forest? Probably not. You're probably seeing them invest into highly damaging, environmentally impacting types of things. And some of that stuff, you need some of that stuff for society. So it's kind of a give and take in terms of like what they invested. I mean, I'm no like scholar on the issue, so I digress into another topic because I don't want to
Yeah,
get
bro.
into like a philosophical thing there. But
No, I get it.
what were you saying about FaZe? You mentioned that.
Oh, they've just had some drama over the past few days. They're a publicly traded company. I don't know if you knew that. And they're down to like 95, 97%. They've had some drama. They've had some members come out during the last few days and like say problems with the company. But I was just kind of talking about how, I mean, maybe there is actual issues because sometimes there's credibility in that. But other times, like you said, everybody just wants to jump on what's hot and attack what's not.
It's too
You know,
easy. Yeah.
it's easy engagement right now, honestly.
Yeah.
That's actually a transition. Granted, I think there's credibility in this because this is a lot, man. But one of the biggest NFT projects in the space, many considered a blue chip, and I would probably even have considered a blue chip, just came out and said this. And obviously, people are feeling the same way that we're talking about over this, but there's definitely credibility in it. Let me see if I can share my screen on this. You don't even have to be in this project to like give an opinion on this. This is just crazy, man. Imagine you're holding an NFT project, no matter what it is, and your project founder comes out and says that we are no longer an NFT project. Okay, so that's essentially what Doodles is doing. This is the founder of Doodles, one of the most traded NFT projects to date. They were like upwards of had that's actually. But I'm gonna before I just guess something, I'm gonna look exactly what they were worth. That's not right. Come on, OpenSea, give me a token marketplace. Let's see what Doodles were at all-time high. Not even just their all-time high, but like they're like consistently, dude, they're down to 3.6 ETH right now, which is absolutely like so dirt cheap compared to what they were. Let's see. We're gonna filter this by look, they're at 23 ETH. 23 ETH. When ETH was at like 4K. But anyways, all that going back to where's my tab at? The founder comes out and says we're no longer an NFT project, and on top of that, he says that we're not going to spend any resources appeasing those with financial motives. We never have and never will. If we are going to focus energy of any group of people, it will absolutely be our most loyal collectors. So in other words, they're saying that we're collectors at heart.
Yeah. It's like they kind of used this space. They used the funding. They used the hype. It seemed like here for the NFT space. Now this is kind of like a reverse of what we've seen in the space. Like normally you see companies enter the space. They try to generate a lot of hype. They try to do a bunch of things, and sometimes it comes off cash grabby. Here it's kind of the opposite. It's like they're like, oh yeah, we're all about NFTs, and then all of a sudden it's like rug pull. Just kidding. We're about just collecting, and that's about it. I don't know. It just feels a little cash grabby the way they kind of like are moving. Now, Doodles was one of my favorite projects here. I get why they're positioning themselves as a collectible type of platform. They should do that, but this, I don't know, it was the right way to communicate to your audience and your fans, your following that hey, we're about collecting now. There's a different way to go about it, and you're alienating your NFT base. And so this was inappropriate, in my opinion. It wasn't the appropriate way to communicate this, in my opinion.
These people got you started. You literally got your funding from a sellout. You got secondary royalties before that like kind of diminished due to the Blur and OpenSea drama. And they've dropped so many they've dropped duplicators, and then they've dropped one other collection. They've made so much money off the NFT audience, and now they're saying, look, we don't really want to be associated with this anymore. What that tells me is you're here for the money, and now you want to expand to be a brand without tying the word NFT to it for your own gain, for your brand's own gain. And for people who spent thousands and thousands of dollars on your project, believing in your vision, I'm not going to say you're rugging them, but to a sense, like you're screwing them over. And I didn't give a lot of it. Here's my opinion. I put on Twitter. I said, what? Because like, dude, this is, and like VeVe can relate.
Happening? Like SBF.
VeVe can relate too, like it's a weird dilemma. I'm not a Doodles holder, but like I don't want to like sit here and like tear them apart publicly when I have friends who hold, and that's just kind of like a weird moral, ethical dilemma. Like you want to say what's truly on your mind, but like you don't want to like add fuel to the fire, kind of thing. And like VeVe has its own ways for that too, like they'll do something I like strongly disagree with, but do I go make a thread about it? Is it worth it? Like, is this worth talking about because it's in the open? I don't know. I go through that dilemma a lot to where like if I disagree with something, I still don't really necessarily want to rip it apart. And I'm not a holder, so maybe there's probably more context here. Just know, regardless of the context, you really screwed yourself sending this message and naming yourself Poopy. That was the first L he took here.
Yeah, it's very poopy of him to do that. People give VeVe a hard time, but this is kind of, in a sense, like a little bit worse. Like it's like they started in the Web3 space, and now like they're like full Web3. We're interoperable, and then now they're just kind of like we're rugging that idea completely. Like I don't know. It just seems a little absurd for sure. I mean, there's a lot to say, a lot to dissect, and things there.
Somebody asked what the response to Doodles has been. I've seen a lot of people respond, but I haven't seen a lot of like specifically Doodles respond.
Because they're like, oh shoot, like what's going on? I think they've kind of been that way. Like it feels probably like a lot of the community members are unsure of what's going on, and I think you've seen that like reflective in the floor price kind of dropping on their main collections. I mean, they're still high. Like, don't get me wrong, they're still big fans. I like the art. I actually was a big fan of Doodles, but that response kind of like, it wasn't the best.
I didn't even mention the fact that they raised 54 million in VCs. So like 54 million in VCs and selling out 3 collections and then royalties for over a year before royalties got diminished with the Blur and OpenSea conflict. So they sucked a lot of liquid out. What did Kay say? I think too many of us live in a bubble. I don't understand the mainstream. I've seen blockchain stuff for Web3 maxis, and FA blockchain is valuable, more mainstream used together. Okay. I mean, yeah, I think at times like we definitely are in a bubble, and that's why like I try not to get like ultra offended like when like the Sesame Street stuff. Like it doesn't surprise me that people are mad. It does surprise me like just as like a human, like some of the links people go to, like when they're mad. You know, like I can't even repeat some of the quoted tweets on that article that whoever released the article because like it would get taken off of YouTube. Like people are that mad they're gonna say like some things that like aren't even really supposed to be said.
Yeah, I mean, bubbles within bubbles. I mean, there's the VeVe bubble, the NFT bubble. I mean, crypto bubble. I mean, crypto went mainstream not that long ago. So did NFTs. So I don't know. People know just enough in the mainstream about NFTs, but they don't know. They know enough to know what kind of it is, but they don't really know what it is. So there's still a lot of education that needs to play out here. And really, like in the long run, NFT is just a technology. There's many ways you can utilize that application. And so we have yet to see that really unfold to its fullest extent. And I think once it does, again, it's Web3. It's just an added layer to the internet. We're going to see it in games. We're going to see it in movies. We have gala games and gala nodes and gala music, gala movies, and gala entertainment. You'll see some stuff on VeVe. Same thing, like things that are dropping, fashion items, I'm sure. So again, it's just going to come down to people educating themselves and realizing like this is a actual technology and not just like some JPEG on the internet. So there's just a lot of like that education that needs to be had. I don't know if you kept up with the Bengadinzi though. We kind of skated over that one a little bit.
I don't know what happened.
All right. So he entered in a Twitter space the other night. Just address some questions, same questions that were answered back in 2021. Nothing really new. Was kind of I don't know. It's just kind of odd that he came into the space at this current time, like during crypto winter. So I don't know. He presented some things. He said, supposedly he had exchanges lined up. We don't really know. There's not really evidence of that. And if he did, that's really actually to me, that's not back then that wasn't that hard to do. Like exchanges actually had their information out there in the public, whereas now you have to actually request an application more formally. So back then, again, to me, like he was just saying things that to me were just he was just trying to like impress the community. Like he was just saying obvious things too, like VeVe needs to do Web3 marketing, blah blah blah. I had exchanges lined up, so it's kind of like he was pandering in a sense, in my opinion. I mean, that's just kind of how I saw it because this dude, again, he's only popped up like twice in the community. The first time was super controversial, super like all about himself. Like every time he's popped up, it's always been about himself. Like there's not been a time he's popped up in the community and was like, I like this collectible. I like Sesame Street. I don't like Sesame Street. Whatever. Like it's just been to pop up about his case and answer questions and try to paint a narrative, in my opinion. That's all I've seen from this guy. I don't know him. I don't know if he's still in the crypto space. I don't know if he collects NFTs. I don't know anything about. Nobody was asking him those questions either. They're just asking him about his like case about VeVe. So that's kind of what happened there. And I think some information was maybe confirmed. I don't know. again, it's all just hearsay until there's evidence proven there again. So that's kind of what happened in a nutshell. So
did Cavell join the space and roast him like
no,
he did
I
the
think they're
first
trying to get Cavell out of his wherever Cavell's doing. They're trying to get him to come down just because Ben's been around. But yeah, I look at this and I'm just like, but it just seemed like pandering to people that were either already bearish on NFTs or VeVe specifically, and pandering to that crowd a little bit. And it seems like he studied a little bit what to say before he joined the space as well. Like he was saying the three things that like people in the VeVe space have already been saying, like Web3 marketing, Web3 media outlets, exchanges, and just like the cookie cutter response. So again,
the cookie cutter, back to Sesame Street, back to the Cookie Monster.
Cookie Monster. Yum, 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 yum.
I did see a tweet that somebody was saying that Ben wants the token to go up. So I guess he like was he trying to like was he trying to revive it or not revive it, but like was he trying to pump it or
Pump what now?
the Omi token?
No, no. I think, I mean, he apparently he has shares. I mean, this is significant, Chris. He claims he has 6% share in VeVe's equity. So that would
Wow,
be
that's a lot.
so he was going into the space. Yeah, it's a massive amount, and so that's why
Sweet.
he could. So this is just like my assumption of it, but he could have been in that space to paint his narrative to say like, oh, I want VeVe, and he was saying that I want VeVe to succeed. Well, it's like obviously you do because you have 6% shares supposedly.
Yeah, bro. I'd be
Um,
wanting VeVe to succeed. I mean, I want them to succeed too, anyways. But like 6%'s a lot, dude.
yeah.
Like
So
I don't think people realize like what's VeVe valued at right now. Do you know?
I don't know. No, at one point it was like what almost 10 billion market cap or something. But
I mean, let's like lowball it. Let's say the company sells for even okay, obviously like even $60 million, like which is way lowball. But yeah, but it's a lowball
it's still
for
a
the
lot to like an
company.
average Joe.
6%, like that's a lot of money.
Well, and then the revenue that they could take in over the coming years. And so he was saying that he wants a company to succeed. Well, I'm like, obviously you do. But the weird thing about this, Chris, was he, after years of already settling with Ecomi, then he goes in and does another lawsuit just recently regarding these shares. So it's like out of the blue, this contract that originated years ago, now he's saying that like, oh yeah, you owe me equity too. So it's just weird. It's like, how do you forget you have like this equity or these shares rather? It just doesn't add up really. And it's like everything he's saying, it just so
He
I
didn't
don't know.
forget.
I've seen like me and you are different because we are in the macro NFT space. We've seen a grifter or two, and I'm not saying that like maybe he is, maybe he isn't, but it just seems like we've seen this time and time again in the NFT space where these founders or creators or whatever rug pull their projects and go on to the next thing, and they do it like Ben's not the first person to do this. Like we've seen other founders doing it a way smarter, more intelligent ways in some cases. Some people are like genius level grifters. And so anyways, that's kind of my take on it. I don't know. I don't know the guy. If he came in around in the community and maybe voiced more things, then maybe I could change my opinion, but it just seemed a little odd. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, man. I don't want to say much on it because I don't want to get my name in that next document. So we can move on to the
Well,
next
this is
subject.
just all opinion. Like this is not like substantiated. This is what he said, and I'm just saying
know,
like
man.
what I kind of think about it. So again, like there was no evidence presented. He just told people to DM him. Some people did, like Hello K, and then I think Doctor of Stuff tried to.
Oh,
I don't
cool.
know. So again, we haven't really seen anything. The technically, I mean, the case is still active. So you could technically go to like a court doc website and look everything up yourself. And I don't know if they would actually have the documents available there. But again, I just don't know without seeing like the actual substantial evidence. And of course, he's not going to present that because the case is live. So I don't know. There's just a lot to take in. That's all I'm saying.
There's a lot, man.
Yeah. Well, people were saying like, oh, he should run VeVe. He should like do the marketing. I'm like, you want this guy who sued Ecomi twice? I don't know about that. Like we have way smarter people out there in the Web3 space that could do a much better job than that guy, I'm sure. And I've looked at his somebody sent me allegedly sent me this like or I've seen the kind of like this old OUP that he designed, and it was just like basically staking Omi, and that was it. It was just like staking all these levels, and where wells would stake. And I'm like, sure, that would like pump the price, but what do you think he's going to do with his tokens? Probably dump them. It's like it just
Oh
looked
yeah,
it just looked bad. It's just like these
yeah.
are not the best tokenomics I've ever seen, like ever. Like this looks like
Granted, he did probably make that in like 2018.
yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, no, that even worse because back then there's ICOs popping off.
Yeah,
Um,
that's true.
so I don't know. And maybe I could change my opinion if there's something out there or somebody could maybe change my mind about it. But that's just
Sure.
my thoughts on the issue. I don't know.
That's fair. That's fair. What?
Blockchain comics.
What'd he say? Oh.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know, bro, about this doodle stuff though. All right, Chris, you're up, man. What's the
I'm up,
next?
bro.
What's the next one?
Dude,
Arbitrum, Chat
the
GPT.
next one is the next innovative technology that's
I got
here
you
to
pulling up
rock
right here.
the freaking world, dude. And that's called Chat GPT-4, man. I asked it yesterday, where do you see NFTs by 2024? And it told me by 2024, all NFTs will be heading to zero. The wannabe influencers will start having to make content based on the real future, which is AI. There will be a couple of NFT PFPs trying to promote their bags, hoping that adoption will come, but it never will. The sappy seals will be left without water, the Bored Apes will run out of free stuff, and the rest of the projects, as you know it, will fade. Eventually, all self-proclaimed degen dads will understand that I am the future, not the blockchain. That's the future, Kyle. That's it. You just got a glimpse into what 2026 looks like.
Yeah. Oh, I read that. That was freaking funny, man.
Nah, yeah, I completely bull crapped this. I used Canva to edit it, and it's just on the top of my head, man. This is what ADHD looks like. If anybody wanted like a picture of ADHD, but like on a real note, just like a fun little side thing is ChatGPT 4 did drop 2 days ago, and there's been some like really freaking cool stuff with it, and I can relate this to crypto and blockchains too. I probably can't find
The
the thread.
part
His
the
name.
part that got me was the Basie part. I think I laughed out loud at that one. Like basically we'll run out of free airdrops or whatever.
Yeah, bro.
Free money airdrops
That
for
was
their
the
holders.
most. That was that was the part where you could tell that it was fake because VeVe will never run out of free airdrops. They'll never run out of free stuff. So, anyways, ChatGPT 5 dropped, and there's a lot of really freaking cool stuff that people are doing. But you might be thinking, like, why are you talking about this on a degen? Whatever. There is actually relevant to the Ethereum blockchain that I thought was really cool. I'm trying to find it though. Essentially, this guy used the ChatGPT 4 to audit a Ethereum smart contract. And the smart contract, I'm still looking for it as I'm saying this. The smart contract was able to find the exploits in the contract very quickly. And then after it found the exploits in the contract, it even said when the exact contract was breached, all the way back to 2018. I'm not looking at it. I'm looking for it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, here it is. Nope, that's Snake. It programmed the game of Snake as well. Here it is. I dumped an Ethereum contract in GPT-4. In an instance, it highlighted a number of security and vulnerabilities and pointed out surface areas where the contract could be exploited. It then very a specific way could exploit the contract. The contract was hacked in 2018 via vulnerabilities that GPT points out, and it actually shows the contract. You can click, and then it goes into stuff that only K and probably some other devs in the comments can understand. This is Solidity. But basically, it's able to like proofread the Solidity contracts and kind of find the exploits. This will probably still, to my knowledge, require a lot of dev work to like go in and make sure that everything's okay. But essentially, the Chat GPT 3.5 to 4, the biggest step is the creativity and the scaling of test taking. So it actually gave it like a series of tests, like AP tests, bar exam, and all that. GPT 3.5 scored in the bottom 10th percentile of these tests, while GPT 4 scored in the top 90th percentile, absolutely crushing the bar in these other tests. So you're going to see a lot of videos like how to make money or how this is going to change your life. And it could, but usually there's really smart people behind those prompts that like actually utilize it. But I feel like for most people this upgrade's not like substantial, but if you're like a developer, a builder, or you're like doing very more advanced things, it could be. Now there are like really cool things, and I'll say this, and then we can just kind of have a conversation about it. That I did see. One of them, this one's fun, Kyle. I don't know about you. I don't know if you get this where you live, but where I live, we get these little things called
Yeah, we got poor
spam
man in the
calls.
chat. Like,
What up, poor man printing? What's he laughing
yo, so Kay said, poor man's back. We just need Cavell.
at? He's off being the greatest somewhere. That's
Poor
great,
man, what's
man.
up, man? Oh man, I miss poor man printing or yeah, poor man making those VeVe videos back in the day, man.
I remember those, man. It's one of the OGs.
Sleep says already integrated ChatGPT API into my company's website.
Heck yeah, man. That's awesome. That's
Blockchain
huge.
Comics already uses it for his work. Took a day. What a he's flexing. Look at that flex.
Yeah, man.
Look at that flex.
I want to point this out because it's really freaking cool. Two things actually. This did a one-click lawsuit. So I don't know about you, but like I get spam callers where I live, and essentially this person got spam called, and they decided that they wanted to sue the spam caller. So they got it to write a entire draft for a federal lawsuit for $1,500 to sue, and using the context from other cases, and it wrote the entire lawsuit. to sue the spam caller. That was an awesome one. And then this one was really cool. It took the merchant ID, like the merchant code, and then like some vague information, and it broke down the transaction details to the exact address that the merchant was at, with the name of the merchant, what that name means, the even down to the zip code. So I don't know. It's doing some pretty intense stuff, dude.
Yeah, that's insane, man. When prank call ChatGPT? When can we like start making phone calls and deep faking? No, this is good for marketing too. So like marketers can build copy now on their pages and like their advertisements, because I've been a part of that process before as well. And shout out to poor man for the $5 dono. Says, where's Ben, Kyle? I don't know, man. He's probably watching somewhere from the comfort of his home, just maybe waiting for this case to see if he gets shares or not. I don't know. Let's see here. They have lots of example code. Honestly, easy. Yeah, I actually messaged Sleepin the other day regarding Chat GPT, and he sent me like this whole like they have all these examples on Chat GPT how you can use them. The list goes on, man. It is insane. I might have to pull it up because there's a lot of use cases, especially for developers and things like that. Yeah, let me pull that up here if I can find it.
I'm wondering what blockchain does. He says that clients pay for 12 hours work, but GPT-4 does it in 1 hour and 1 hour. So I wonder what kind of work it is.
More degen time.
Yeah.
All right, let's pull this bad boy up here.
Here, you can take mine down. Or yeah, I can't stop sharing. I think small as can be, man. I can't see that.
Yeah, let me throw it up on my other screen here.
Yeah, that's better. You can still zoom in a little bit.
Yeah, I got a 2K monitor, so it's even smaller. So you can see the different categories, grammar correction. Actually, let me hide this comment so we can see this a little bit better. Grammar correction, summarized for a second grader, natural language, SQL, grammar, English to other language. Yeah, you can see movie to emoji, convert movie titles into emoji.
Dang, that's pretty cool.
Explain code.
They have picture conversion now too, to where like you send it a picture and it can like quantify the picture and like know what's going on.
Airport code extractor. That's interesting. ML AI language model tutor. Friend chat, SQL request, Python code, docstring. Just a lot of stuff. VR fitness idea generator. That's interesting. Creative study notes, restaurant review creator. So there's a lot of like very creative ways you can actually use it, which I find pretty interesting. And even what's cool too is like you can kind of use it to like, let's say you go in and you're a marketer, you could technically scrape a really well written marketing article and throw it in there and then like have it write it even better than that. And then now all of a sudden you have this like beast mode marketing page that you can run ads to, and it generate leads for business. So for entrepreneurs, this is pretty massive. and it shortcuts that whole like having to hire a writer or somebody that's really good with marketing copy. Because before, like, you had to pay somebody, thousands of dollars and things like that. So it's kind of like a win-win for small entrepreneurs that like are doing stuff like that.
I'm asking it something right now, so I'll be right back. It's important.
It's important. What is the meaning of life?
No, it's more important than that. That's an obvious answer. That's 42.
That's how I feel about artwork on Midjourney. I got spent 40 hours drawing on 1 hour, making a pic, and then cleaning it in Affinity and done. Hey, I use Affinity, by the way. Shout out to Affinity.
Nice.
Digital content from scratch, photo, video, visuals, graphics. Click the link to see the code. It's super straightforward. Yeah, I think it's like what, an API you integrate with your website.
Yeah.
Let me pull up your page here, Chris. Your screen.
Oh no! Don't do it! Don't do it!
Don't do it.
No.
Okay.
Abandon. No.
Abort.
I'm glad I didn't have it.
You don't have your seed phrase on there, do you?
Yeah, I don't think so. No, I'm just kidding. I would never put that crap on my computer. Oh, dude, I didn't even mention at the beginning. Speaking of like hard wallets, I'm working on getting my first like big ordinals NFT, and it's the weirdest. I haven't talked about this publicly. It's the weirdest freaking like quest to get the allow list. I had to like make a video while wearing a wizard outfit and then take a shower with that wizard outfit. And that was after doing like the first 2 quests, which was like more technical, like downloading a certain wallet and sending BTC through Lightning Network, which I sent you some, and I never sent that. It never got sent back. Just for the world to know. Kyle was like, "Yo, send me some BTC and I'll send you double," and then he never sent it back. So don't ever fall for that crap. But yeah, so I had to make a video of me taking a shower in a wizard costume for this allow list. But so you're thinking, why, Chris? Why are you sharing that with us? Because that's some alpha for you guys right now. Is Taproot Wizards is still possible. Share my screen real quick, Kyle. It's still possible to get on the allow list. And you might be thinking, like, man, I know that's some like banger art right there, but like, why do we care to get on the allow list?
That's sexy art right there.
I am
close your kids' eyes. That's
5% positive that these were in the first 10,000 inscriptions, which I'm not a big like first blah 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 person, but other people are, and it holds, man. It held for VeVe, it held for ENS domains, it holds for a lot of stuff. So this is in the first 10K inscriptions, and there's actually like a successful Bitcoin developer behind it. His name is Yudi. And there's so much hype around it. You're about to, if you're on Twitter, specifically NFT Twitter, you're about to see so many big influencers post the stupid video that I had to post of like getting a wizard costume and taking a shower with it. Anyways, there's some ordinal alpha for you, because a lot of people are like, well, what ordinals are like popping? I really do think this has potential to be like, I hope that, I not financial advice. Let's, finance to the side. I think this has potential to be a blue chip NFT on Bitcoin. This, or an ordinal. No matter what, whatever your definition of blue chip is, you can run with that. But I'm excited about it. I'm trying my best to get on that list.
Yeah.
So when video, Kyle?
I don't know. Let's see yours, man. I thought you were gonna pull up your video. I was ready to go for that, man. I was excited. Pull that bad boy up, man. Pull it up. Let's go.
Can you hear the audio?
No, I can't.
What? Well, that's like an important part. Why can't you hear the audio?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Here, I can share it with audio. Give me a second, Kyle. I know how to do it. All right, I'm ready. I'm good.
I'm gonna mute it.
In order to be on one of the first inscripted ordinals, which the art is amazing, by the way. I mean, look at that thing. All you have to do is put on a wizard costume. I'm not doing that. Is it my sunbathing with wizard sunglasses? All right, let's see what we have to do next in order to get one of these ordinals. So yeah, I had to take a shower. That was fun. Have you ever went this far for an allow list, Kyle?
No.
Will you ever go this far for an allow list, Kyle?
Yes.
That's a good question for chat. Chat, would you go this far for an allow list?
Look at that.
Would you go this far for an allowless?
Look at that
I don't
mug
care.
right there.
I don't care what allowless it is. Would you go this far? Would you sacrifice whatever this is sacrificing? I made that hat, by the way. I know you're thinking like, man, that's a really sick hat. Me and my kids made that hat.
The part
Got
that
a
cracked me up was when you turn the shower on and your
oh,
hat kind of
snap
like
me
blew
back.
by. Yeah, and it looked like
Yeah.
it got you too. You're like, ah.
Yeah, that
That
was
part
not
got me.
scripted. That was not scripted. The whole thing is like supposed to be like overly scripted. Like I was going for like an office style, like cringe. But that part was not scripted. I just like it just like shot my hat off and I was like, oh god, I don't want to lose it.
Oh, dude, it was hilarious.
Quill said no. Double Quill said no way. Man, you gotta do what you gotta do here, man. When I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna say much, bro. We'll come back to this. We will come back to this in the
Yeah,
next month
I
and
don't know if I can
see if
top
it was
that.
worth it.
I'm like, man, like, what am I gonna do for my video? Like, how
There
can I even like get close to that?
there's some good ones, bro. There's some good ones out there. I'm sure you'll think of something creative. You gotta get
Yeah,
to
for
one of
sure.
those tap roots.
Absolutely. What else we got? I mean, we're coming up on close to an hour, I think. We're about 50 minutes in. The SVB collapse. There's a lot of banks collapsing.
Yeah, it's not
Credit
important anymore.
Suisse.
That was so last week.
Well, Credit Suisse was just like yesterday. I think they got bailed out. I'm not quite 100% on that, but they were in like big trouble as well. Also, it's kind of weird that these um, people that are buying these troubled banks that go belly up, like SVB, Silicon Valley Bank, and Signature, I've seen reports that they're telling these new buyers of these banks are telling that these businesses better not do crypto business like at these banks anymore. And it's not like a small thing because Circle is using some of these banks. That the reason why like we had cash out troubles with platforms like Recur or Palm. And if like these large platforms like Circle that provide crypto services aren't able to bank at banks, like it doesn't that seem a little weird? And then on the flip side, you have like these test pilots of CBDCs, otherwise known as central banking um, coins, basically these central banking dollar coin. So I don't know. It just seems a little bit odd and a little bit sus if I'm being honest here.
Yeah.
Um, and again, USDC concerns that was tied up with SVB and Silvergate Bank, mainly SVB, but they're
Yeah,
obviously getting their deposit money back. So
I swapped my USDC yesterday when it was repegged 1 to 1. It was because like I had USDC and
yeah,
it got depegged to recap to like 0.85 last week, which is a big deal because it's supposed to be a stable coin and stable coins aren't supposed to lose that much any. And then it over the weekend there was panic. People were selling at a loss. Circle was probably buying it, and they were also paying high gas to sell because it was on their the network was congested, and it got announced that it was going to repeg. It repegged Monday at like 0.98. Gas fees are still high. What people did was they converted their USDC into like Ethereum and into Bitcoin and into like BUSD and like other things. But like mainly like the most stable of the currencies. And it pumped the currencies. Now, granted, there's other reasons. Like banks collapsing is a bullish case for Bitcoin. So like that's another big reason that crypto market pumped. But I waited because I was like, I think there's going to be a dip after that because that's what everybody's doing. That's what I wanted to do. So I waited a couple days and I got a little discount on the short term, anyways, on Bitcoin, and I traded my USDC at 1 to 1 ratio. So
yeah.
pat on the back for me. Good job, Chris.
Yeah, it's just interesting. Yeah, like Bitcoin, it's proving its case finally after all these years. But at the flip side, it's just odd from regulators and the Fed like to be pressing these issues and these banks collapsing. They're getting bought out by bigger banks and absorbed by bigger banks. Like, I don't know. It just looks a bit sus, is all I'm saying. Like somebody's at the top, just kind of controlling all these levers. I mean, yeah, it just begs the question. And again, like, yeah, the CBDC or the centralized banking coins, like that kind of flies in the face of what Bitcoin was created for. So again, it does lend more credibility to DeFi and decentralization and Bitcoin. But at the same time, you can see that these like centralized players Seemingly it just looks a little sus. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it does, but unfortunately, this is what we talked about last week, is yeah, I feel like if the US is too anti-Bitcoin and Bitcoin does get mass adopted, we are going to get left behind, and like that's just something I'd hate to see. The US has
Yeah.
always been pretty good at like upcoming technology, newer technology, startups, which by the way, we didn't even mention the effect that startups had on SVB, which will affect everyone and have affected everyone. But yeah, it just wouldn't be a good thing if every other country starts to like adopt crypto, or at least go ahead and regulate it to whatever extent and then accept it. But all this uncertainty and like, I don't know, man. It makes me fearful.
Yeah, they want to control the money. At the end of the day, be the base reserve currency of the world. That's a lot of what it's about in national security. So, and like you said, maybe they just need to step in and regulate it and provide clarity so people can do what they want
Yeah.
to do. That's really as easy as that. And they just got to put in the work, and do the research. And yeah, I mean that's kind of the simple solution, but at the same time, that's the hardest thing to do. And I don't know who has the appetite to put in the hard work. So that's going to be another thing. And then the same time, you have the political side where I don't know who's going to be brave enough to be bold enough to step up and say like, hey, we need to regulate this. Hey, we're doing this against like the traditional financial system.
Mm.
So there's got to be somebody like brave enough in leadership and the legislators to do this. And it's kind of has to be organic too. People need to be pressing their local senators and their state senators and their reps. So you know, we'll see, we'll see. All right,
Dude,
any other news?
well, I want to sit on this topic for a second because like I just had it's probably obvious to you and it should have been obvious to me a long time ago. But like I had this meeting with my financial advisor, actual financial advisor, last week, and we were just kind of talking about like the US dollar. And it's just like for right now, obviously like I'm not passing this as financial advice, it's just for conversation's sake. For right now, the US dollar is like stable, at least from like hyperinflation, because like so many people use the currency, like so many countries use the currency. In the event that something happened and those countries did not use the currency, like we could be at risk at like hyperinflation. And then that goes down to like more technical terms, like technical like conversations that we did have. But I'm saying all that just to say like I was just thinking like how somebody is talking about, not you, Kyle, of course, talking about my financial advisor, how smart he was. I'm just kidding. Like how he like wouldn't like be bullish on crypto, like or like on Bitcoin particularly, like it just kind of. And I actually did talk with him about it. I was like how does this not point you to crypto? And we had some interesting conversations around it, but I don't know. It's a very interesting conversation because essentially he was saying like the lack of credibility that the US dollar has, at least in the event that something bad were to happen. But we got into really good conversations too about how the I don't know, just the not just macroeconomics, there's another word used for it. Um, the flow of the economy, like as far as like trading goods and commodities go, we got deep into that. I don't remember
Yeah.
the word for it.
Well, there's macro. So like, like you're saying, there's also like geopolitics, there's all kinds of stuff. People don't necessarily get outside of their like individual economic bubbles or even individual passions. So like people passionate about crypto. I see a lot of channels talking about it, but they also don't mention like there is especially like for US citizens, I mean, there is the national side of things where the US does want to control the dollar. They do want to have a say. They do want to regulate this, and it's in their best interest to keep the dollar number one. So when you do make things bullish for crypto, you're kind of competing. You're kind of shooting yourself in the foot against the own dollar, and the dollar is what props up, the United States and makes the United States the number one superpower. So there is this balance and dance that needs to be played. Obviously like they want I think they're trying to figure things out, but I think that the people in leadership are just kind of old and don't know really what to do, and they're trying to like figure things out. You just need more intelligent people up there that understand the technology, that understand how to maybe help with regulation. I don't know. There's things that need to be played out. But I don't think that the U.S. is going to be like, oh, we don't like crypto and it's banned. I don't think we get to that point. I just think they're just trying to figure out how to remain the top dog in the world, geopolitically as well, while maintaining their kind of base currency, whatever that may be, or maybe their reserves, whatever that may be. So I don't know.
Yeah,
There's a lot to think about there. That's like
there
a
is.
whole topic in itself, because then you're talking, competing currencies, can like, other countries involved, and there's just a lot to take in there. So a lot of
So
people
let's
don't
back to
understand all that
NFTs.
though. Yeah,
Back to
NFT, bro.
NFTs. Fun
NFT,
stuff.
bro.
Easy stuff. Yeah, DGods is dropping an ordinal project for a mint of 0.44 BTC each. To give you an idea, this is about $10,800. There's gonna be
Sheesh.
five. Yeah, dude. There's gonna be
Sheesh.
500 of them, and they're ordinals. So yeah, they're inscripted satoshis on Bitcoin, actually layer one Bitcoin. I had somebody ask me last night, why are these $10,000? And I mean, the actual answer is, look, I don't know, but the value proposition for these is that these little spreadsheet Windows 5 like things. What just happened? Oh my god. These things are all contained in one Bitcoin block. So there's 535 total, and there's 500 that are going to be available to be minted, and all of them are in one block. So this is like a historical mint from an already credible project and founder, Frank, who's established themselves as a blue chip on Solana before they moved off of Solana. Now maybe they're trying to be the blue chip or a blue chip on Bitcoin. But this is a historical NFT. I've had people ask, do I think that this is going to sell out? Yes, I do think this is going to sell out. I don't know how secondary action is going to do, quite frankly, because I just don't know how to track ordinals on secondary, and a lot of other people don't really either. It's not something I've like really tried to do heavy, but it's difficult. Speaking before we move off of ordinal, real quick before there's another really important topic on ordinals I want to talk about. But what's your opinion on this, Kyle?
It's cool. It's cool.
Sweet. That's a very, very detailed, unique opinion. Thank
I'm
you,
not gonna.
Kyle, for really
I'm.
inputting on this situation. That's
It's
a
cool in
great
terms.
conversation.
I like ordinals. I like DeGods. They're really expensive. I'm not gonna buy it, but it's cool. I mean, I don't think if I had the money, I would even buy it though. But it's cool. DeGod's credible. Frank knows his stuff about collectibles. That's the thing. So, I really am curious about the long term, vision that they have around DeGods. Because heard him speak on the Nifty's deal, and he said he's always putting in some alpha, some good input, and talks about like the dynamics of like collecting in NFTs. Of course, like I do think he is. I think he's a VeVe user, because he was drawing parallels to comics and
Right?
collectibles. Frank, yeah, Frank.
I,
So he was on the
I
Nifties,
don't
and I was
know,
like,
man.
no, no, no. I was like, because I was in the chat, and they actually pulled
Oh,
my.
like started in VV or like
No, no,
currently
no,
is
no,
in
no, no.
VV?
I think he's just in. I don't know where he's at, or how much he's invested, or if he knows of VeVe. Well, he knows of VeVe. I think he does, but
Yeah, everybody
he
does.
could have comics. I don't know, but it just seems like he was like. I just think he is. I think he's in there. You'd be surprised about like some of the degens that secretly collect on VeVe.
We
They're
got
out there. I've talked to a
NFT
few.
Pirates saying love these guys, and got Blockchain Andy saying never seen a more well trimmed beard and stash than my boy Willson. Yeah, man.
What's
Me
up,
and
Black
me and
Andy?
Kyle like to balance it out. Like you can tell that I have two little ones, and Kyle's are slightly older than mine, because like this is like no time to like look clean like that. Whereas Kyle's got like all the time in the world, so he's like spending an hour every morning like fine tuning that beard. Dude, no joke. No, I gotta say this. I gotta say this. This is like serious, man. We stayed in California together. We stayed at SoCal Homies house in California for decon. Dude, Kyle literally wakes up like that. I'm not kidding. He like in the morning, you could like I literally it sounds so creepy. I literally bust into his room the day I was leaving. I was like, look, man, I'm gonna wake up till you bye. He woke up like that. He woke up like that, except without the hat. I'm pretty sure his hair was like gel to the side. Like he was like his beard was perfect. I think he even had like a button up on or something like that. Like he woke up like that, man. Like it was crazy. I've never seen somebody who can't look like can't not look fresh, man. Like that Kyle's like
At
that when he
least,
wakes up, when he goes to bed, just everything.
dude, that was a fun time at Decon, man. We got to hit up an event. I might be at Consensus, I think. I don't know yet, but we need to definitely go to the event because that was a freaking blast. And
Yeah, it
at
was.
least you look like a celebrity. At least you look like Shia LaBeouf. So no big
Ew,
deal. I
my
don't really
boy.
look like anybody. In my younger days, I kind of did. I got some random, comments about that. When I trim my beard shorter, and then just have my hair gelled up when it's short, I get Green Arrow a lot from the show Arrow.
Oh
But
yeah,
that
yeah.
was when I used to work out a lot. I used to get a lot of that when I was younger, and my hair was a little bit more like blondish brown. I used to get like Bieber comments, and then I used to get because when my head was shaved, and then I would get random other comments too. So I was like, but you literally are like way closer than I would ever be to a celebrity. So,
Dude,
and
I like Shia LaBeouf too, man. His show, his movie Peanut Butter
you're like
Falcon
Shia
is
LaBeouf
so
Web3.
good.
You're
Yeah,
Web3 Shia LaBeouf.
Web3 Shia LaBeouf, man. I watched some Holes, even before Holes. What was it? That TV show he's in, but yeah, man. There's one thing I want to talk about on ordinals before we move on. All this fun stuff. Huga, their mint was like 2 BTC was the cheapest bid. The most expensive was 7 BTC. Are you an art critic, Kyle? Do you consider yourself an art guy?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Define it. Just depends on the art and the style.
Okay.
Should I share your
Well,
screen? Share your screen.
yeah, you can share it. I'm actually these are the best. Like these are the one of ones, but I don't think that's a fair comparison. I'm trying to find like the actual just I think Leonidas actually laid all these out. I don't know, man. Like I'm not gonna pretend to have this like keen art eye, but so many of these just look the same. Like
Oh, those
I
are
would be
exactly the same, bro. Those
I
aren't
would be
like different.
So the cheapest of these was 2 BTC. This was an auction. The most expensive was like 7.7 BTC.
No, thank
And
you. Pass.
some of them literally look like look at this one, like this row right
Mm-mm.
here. It's
Those look
like
like Dippin' Dots,
they moved the line over once. Like
bro.
they moved the red line to the right and they moved the blue line down. And some of the other ones aren't much different. So like,
It looks like
oh,
I'm
bro,
looking down at like a box of Dippin' Dots, but they're slightly packaged differently. That's what
are you
I
hungry,
feel
Kyle?
like.
Are you hungry right now?
I think I'm
Uh,
craving Dippin' Dots, but that's what they look
okay.
like.
That must be a
Some
northerner
people
thing.
I like
I've
abstract.
never woke up in my life and was like, "Man, I'm craving some Dippin' Dots."
Yeah, I like
That's one of
abstract.
those things I eat because, like, I have to eat. There's literally nothing else, and, like, we're at the zoo, and it's like all they have is, like,
Yes,
Dippin'
I was at the
Dots.
zoo. That's why. I was at the zoo recently, and I ate Dippin' Dots recently, so that's where I'm probably getting the craving from. It's a
That's
freaking
funny.
zoo, man. They know you're a parent. You're walking around all day, then you see some Dippin' Dots, and that's where they get you, man. It's a little highway robbery, under.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Like I said, it's Dippin' Dots is like 100% a last option type of snack. I'm never gonna go out of my like wake up and be like, man, I'm really craving some Dippin' Dots today. Let me like go to the store. I wouldn't even know where to go besides the zoo. I don't
Look at
think you can
those. Look
buy
at
these in
those.
the store anymore.
What is
So
that? I mean, I like Basie. I like the things they're doing in terms of pushing the space forward. I like the, metaverse game type things. I love like the general things they're doing. The the art. I don't know if I've always really liked the art. I've liked their animations more than the art. Um, yeah, if I'm being honest. So not the artsiest
sure.
uh prowess project I've ever seen. There's a lot of great art out there. To be fair, so there's a lot of like actual like real artists platforms that specialize. Like, was it Nifty Gateway? That it's like pretty much all art. Um,
Yeah.
there's other platforms out there too. So if I'm looking at art, I'm looking at kind of like real artists behind it. This is more like it feels more generative.
Yeah, it
It's
does. It feels very generative.
And I don't necessarily mind it, but I
Oh,
like
wait,
it to
I got you.
feel more abstract than that. That looks a little too cookie cutter for me, and I wouldn't spend my ETH on that. 2 or what was it? 2 Bitcoin you said?
For the cheapest, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not no. I'm keeping my Bitcoin for when it runs to 100K.
That's a lot of ETH. I would much rather dude, these are so funny. Let me pull up my screen again, sorry. I thought I was done, but I'm not done. I gotta share it. I can't keep this to myself. It would not be okay if I kept this to myself and didn't share it. By the way, we have, bro, pull this bad boy up. So for every
12
good,
Pepes.
project, there's a good derivative, and somebody dropped 12 Pepes, kinda, like, knocking on the 12-fold,
Yeah.
Bored Ape.
That's
Oh, man.
freaking funny. This is way
Dude,
better. These
it's
actually look
better, it
different.
looks better.
It does, it looks better. And
This is
the fact that they're Pepes is, like, insanely funny.
yeah,
That is
dude.
freaking funny, man.
I thought they were great, man, and, like, opposed to, like let me go back to, Leonidas did buy, he's a pretty known Bitcoin whale.
I see he's got a
He
crypto skull.
yeah, he bought, 3 of these, so he spent at least 6 BTC on these,
I had
things,
a
these
crypto
12
skull
volt.
at one
So
point.
here's his. He said I don't know, I think he spent at least 6 BTC on these. He asked me and he asked, what you thought, and dude, to me, these just look like straight peppers.
They look
I
like
I was thinking I was thinking some red hot chili peppers.
they look like, either beans or, little, like, smooth pieces of doo-doo, like,
Oh
a little
gosh.
bit. They
Going
look a
back to
little
poopy from
exactly, I was
Doodles,
about to
man.
say that. I was like, hashtag poopy. Yeah, I don't know, that's not it. They look shiny, I mean, like, I don't know. I like that, I wanna eat that. Like, that makes me just wanna eat it.
You literally wanna eat everything,
But what's
Kyle.
the purpose of this? Is it supposed to be just art on it's ordinal
Yeah,
art?
bro,
Is
it's
that what this
art,
is?
man. It's speaking to you. Yeah,
But how
it's
does this
art on
relate to
ordinals.
Yuga? Like, they do, like, monkey
Are you
pictures.
'Cause they were thinking, "How in the world are we gonna make money when Blur and OpenSea are taking all of our royalties? Oh, let's do a 5,000,000" I actually forgot the exact price, but let's do a however much money they raise from this cash grab. So they're like, "Let's get our guy on our team," which, by the way, this part's really funny. To my knowledge, they didn't really, like, highlight an artist. I think they, like, kinda pointed him out, but it wasn't like we're getting this well-known artist, not big, but, like, this artist that has, a track record. It's like, we're getting somebody from our team or our designer to do this. It's kind of like, what?
Yeah.
It'll be a little different if they got like Beeple to do this. But now they're like, I said Beeple, that's so random. They got like a well-known artist to do this, but they got
Yeah,
somebody
yeah,
from
yeah.
their team, and yeah, drop these. I mean, it was an auction, so went to the bidders. So, to be fair, it's not like they asked this price. It's kind of like that they everyone chose how much they were going to be, and they just so happened to land at 2.2 BTC for the floor.
Oh god,
Let me
dude,
say
it's
this,
just
dude. Let me say this. If you didn't win, I'm getting like close to my mic. If you didn't win the auction, this is the most like old school web point five way of doing things. You if you didn't win, you send your BTC to a wallet and you hope that Huga sends it back. It wasn't like because it's not a smart contract; it's on Bitcoin. So it was like everybody sends in their BTC, and if you're not in the top, however many there was, I forgot, they send you back your Bitcoin. But that's so sketchy. Like imagine
yeah.
sending 2 Bitcoin being like just under the threshold, and now you got to wait for Hugo to refund you like 2 Bitcoin. Just hope they refund you.
Yeah, it's like by celebrating decentralization, we're gonna make this
Yeah,
cell the most centralized thing you've ever seen, and hopefully we send you back your Bitcoin. It's
yep.
like,
Hopefully, man.
oh, hopefully, I don't know. It's just, yeah, it's shocking to me that their collection is still like super high, and they time and time again they sell like their collections at super high prices. It just mind boggles me. I don't know. I get the hype. I do really do. It's still mind
Um,
blowing though. Like, I wish I had an ape. I feel
yeah, me too, man.
stupid for passing on it when I
That's
knew
so
about
sad.
them at when they were still mintable. I wish I minted them.
I wish you did too, man. Speaking of which, the
But
sewer passes are
just
able to
like,
be burned.
Jesus.
This is shout out to Ninja Alerts. Dude, Franklin's buying some doodles right now.
Like, never
Ninja
would
Alerts.
Neo Tokyo put out that ordinal, not
Oh
ordinals
no,
itself, but that art. Like, no, there's not a chance
yeah.
Neo Tokyo would do something ridiculous like that.
Ninja Alerts is the company I work for. But I wanted to show you because it's easy to find. This HVMTL. This is what the sewer passes got burned for. So, like, like the sewer passes we talk about on DJ Dads all the time, there's now, like, levels to them. Actually, last night, you could have probably got some good deals because there's companion traits and then there's types. So the most rare type is the hollow, which is like it sounds, and then it goes down to Reaver. These look cool. Glitch, Celestial, Dynamic, Night, and then the most common one is Bio, which looks like the other ones. So anyways, and then some of them have companions, some of them don't. This is what the sewer passes got burned for. And you can see people right now that are minting them. You can see some people are buying. This transaction was 2.33. So that's the latest on the Bored Ape stuff.
Got it. Yeah, interesting.
Oh, dude, somebody asked a question about Palm. You are shilling Palm today. I don't know if you pointed that out, so you might as well answer it.
No, I just decided to wear a Web3 hat, and this was the closest Web3 hat I had. My Neo Tokyo hat's like off somewhere, and I almost wore Sleepin's hat today, man. So Sleepin's still here. I almost wore your hat. By the way, we love you too, NFT Pirates.
I told him that forever ago, dude. Like right when he sent that.
Sure,
You got to answer Mike's question, man.
Yeah, even I'm complaining about the Q system. What do you mean? This could be bullish for VeVe's ticket system. The ticket system, man. My thoughts is like, when ticket system though? Like the ticket system was supposed to be coming 2 weeks ago, 1 year ago, or whatever. Like 2 weeks, it's coming out, and then it never came out. So I mean, sure, but in theory, but we haven't seen a ticket system. Come on, baby, put out that ticket system, baby.
Do it.
Do it. Chris, any final
GG?
No, like anything you think on in terms of those basey things or whatever? Excited, not excited?
I don't really care, man. I'm not in the ecosystem.
You don't care. Well, what's one project you do care about? Sappy Seals?
Sappy Seals, man. No, I care about all projects. I care about. We just got into Mochaverse, so like I'm excited to see what Mochaverse comes up with. I'm in Puma's project.
Yeah, did you get those weird moon shoes yet?
No,
like...
I saw those. Yeah, I saw those. I was hoping I'd have an advantage for them, but there wasn't. So it's whatever. They didn't promote it on their Discord. They just promoted it on their Twitter. I care about. Let me just go down the list of my holdings. Tell you what all I care about. Let's see my bags.
Well, yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Do you? All right. So where
I do care about a lot of projects.
Yeah. No, we can go ahead and close it out, man. This was a good one. It's always a banger. We'll be on Chris's channel next week. You can find us over on Twitters as well. Tiger Willson and Chris Coffee ETH on Twitter. Chris, where can people find you other than Twitter?
My YouTube, Chris Coffee and Crypto. And Twitter.